All right, so I've got the Blue Eddy AC180 mocked up inside this storage, bonus storage. You can see here, it does not come out and encroach on the sleeping area. Fits in there really comfortably, and actually has quite a bit of room over here as well. All right, so here we go, another day in the life of a Sienna mini camper. I had a plan, my last video, I don't know if you can see up here, but I took the center console out to make a little more space for pass through to get to the back. And then when I get to the back, when you're actually on the road, not set up for camping, you know, the issue traveling with two people is that there's just not enough storage for everything you want, especially like clothes. So underneath here, I have camping supplies, you know, my cook stove, hatchet, tow straps, various things that I don't have to access all the time. So I always thought, well, that's a great place to have that stuff, you know, tucked away, out of the way. And then when you've got the mattress in here, you have to move everything like your backpacks, your clothes to the front seats to sleep. Again, not a massive deal, but if you're doing it day after day, it can be kind of a little bit of a pain, I suppose. The ultimate solution is to get a bigger van, but who's got the money to buy a bigger van right now? That would be ideal. So the quest is to find some additional storage. My thought originally was, you know, I was going to build some elevated storage here and then put backpacks on top, which would be about right here. And then I could have, you know, the feet here sleeping this way. But the problem is when you want to get out of the van, you kind of got to, you know, twist around or crawl your way all the way up front to the door. And if you're tired, you're sleepy, and you need to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night or something like that, that's not very comfortable. So for me, the optimum way is to have my head here, feet up that way. And then if I have my storage here, you know, you don't want your headspace directly above it. If you have to get up in the middle of the night quickly, you forget where you are, that kind of thing, you're going to bump your head. And that's going to be uncomfortable as well. So trying to find a way to unlock some hidden storage. So I think I have a plan. I think what I'm going to do is lose this 100 watt storage or 100 watt solar panel and find a low profile case to mount on this side of my bars to put my camping gear and that kind of thing. And then that'll free up this space here, which I absolutely love. You say it's an absolute mess. Well, this would be a great place to put the clothes and that kind of thing. So they're never going to be in the way for camping. Don't know if I can get everything up top. So I'm trying to find some hidden storage, and I think I found it. I'm not trying to recommend this. Let's keep that in mind. But I always wondered what was behind the panels here. And a couple things. Number one, there's very little insulation between the outer car body and the plastics. Well, you got this. This is a Toyota solution for noise dampening. I know that's not designed to camp in, so they're ultimately not worried about that, but this is all you get for noise dampening, this and the plastic. So, you know, I guess it's fairly quiet for a car if you're, you know, hauling people around so you can have a conversation, but that's not really my priority. I'm just looking to unlock some hidden storage. So what I like to do, again, you know, this is kind of worthless. The only thing this plastic is really doing is, you know, protecting your cables, your wiring, your seatbelt harnesses, your speaker, that kind of thing, which is, you know, it's justifiable. But I want this thing to be a really capable camping setup, which means I think it's time to lose this completely. First thing I did was I just pulled it off there to see what was behind, and not a lot. To be honest with you, I know in terms of camping, this rear seat belt is in the way. I'm kind of torn about taking this one out. I think I'm going to leave this one in place for now, but this one is definitely coming out. It's in the way, just get hung up on it, that kind of thing. So anyway, I'm going all in. I'm going to pull this junk out. Here it kind of serves a little bit of a purpose. I think I'm not going to pull this out because this leads to this area here. So I think I'm going to trim this area right here in some fashion. Get all this crap out of here and figure out a better way to get some insulation up against here to protect from heat and cold, I suppose. Probably just use this solar insulation here. Yeah, so I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but you know, I don't have any intentions of selling this van. You know, I may upgrade someday. Will upgrade someday. You know, nothing's going to last forever. But when I, you know, decommission this as the camping van, it's just going to be a work vehicle, which is, you know, what I use it for half the time anyway. So I don't really ever have intention of selling it. You know, famous last words of a fool right there. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, I'm going to get all this junk torn out and kind of come up with a plan after I get it torn out. I think that's the best way to do it, right? Who needs a plan when you jump into something? Tear stuff up and figure it out later. So we'll see what happens. All right, first update. Here's junk coming out, and here's what I'm left with to this point. Man, there's a lot of space back here. There really is a lot of space back here. I know it kind of looks like a mess, but all this stuff can be cleaned up. I'll give you a little bit of perspective here. Here's the passenger side. You know, vertically it's, well, you can see there's just a ton of space that's available for storage. Who doesn't like more storage? And the only issue that I think I'm gonna have to solve, I don't say it's gonna be an issue that can't be solved, is you got a lot of wiring here that's exposed. So my options would be to, you know, trim off the pieces of this monstrosity and put it back into place, like right here, to cover this wiring. Or I can figure out, you know, another storage or a solution, which I may just go with Reflectix again, you know, just, you know, cover this up because I don't really need to take advantage of any space here. Here's, man, this is what I'm looking at. You can see the length of my arm here. It goes, you know, it's a good 18 inches of storage from the side of my sleeping bed or platform over to the, you know, the car body. This piece here, you know, I decided not to take out. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Dremel and just kind of cut it right here so I can leave this in place, because I don't really want to get into the, you know, the pillar of the car and have that exposed. You know, this is covered up nicely still. So I'll just trim it right here and see where it goes. But yeah, I think this is going to work out pretty cool. In terms of you know, what it took to take this out. All I used was a knife to pry some of the little, you know, clips. So let's say like this piece right here, so plastic piece. Just use a knife to pry that kind of stuff open. A flat-bladed screwdriver and a 14mm socket to pull the seat belt out right here and here. So I'm gonna do this one side at a time. I've got the passenger side here as well. I know in terms of the passenger side, you know, behind this little panel, you got, you know, the jack and then some of the HVAC system back here. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do on this side yet. Just kind of do this one side at a time, so I don't have too much work to do. But yeah, I'm going to, like I said, Dremel this off, and then there's some metal tabs on the wheel well here. So I'll probably, you know, get a grinder out or a cut-off wheel and go ahead and cut this off. Not mandatory, I suppose. You could bend it over, beat it with a hammer, but I'm going to go ahead and clean it up a little bit, and then we'll get this metal covered and then figure out how to expose some storage. This, I'm not sure what in the heck this is. This is a interesting little piece here. I don't really see anything going on. I don't know if this is just like a pressure vent, like when you're shutting the doors and that kind of thing. It allows some of the air pressure to escape so the doors actually close. I'm guessing that's what that is. I don't know, man. There's a lot of storage up in here. What could you get up in here? Tools, power station. Oh, actually, that would be you can get a power station back here and get it out of the way up front. Possibilities, yo. All right, guys, so here we go. Final update on this video. I've got all the plastic off. This little piece that goes right here covers the rear pillar. It's right here on the passenger side. I haven't touched it yet. Originally I dremeled it right here and cut it off. I was going to leave it here. Then after I cut it off, I was able to see back up under here and realized that it didn't really serve a purpose for anything. So went ahead and pulled it out, jerked that baby out, get rid of it. So the only thing I'm left with back here anyway, really this just kind of reminds me of a regular old cargo type van where you've got all the metal bracing and framework and everything exposed. And then obviously you see in a lot of van videos that people cover that up beautifully, so that's not really a big deal. In my van right here, I've got some extra wiring that you may notice, especially this little guy right here. This is for my trailer lights. A lot of you, if you happen to get into this similar project, you won't have this contraption here. I'm a little bit worried about this wiring right here, but I think what I'll do is simply tuck it up inside this rail here. There's plenty of room. So, that shouldn't be too difficult at all. And that'll get this area here, completely cleaned up, and I'll be able to cover it maybe with some marine grade carpeting, Reflectix, whatever. Again, we'll figure that out later. So all I'm going to do now is go ahead and cut these tabs off, get everything cleaned up. All right, guys, for not having much of a plan today, this worked out pretty well. I'm actually pretty excited about the extra room I was able to come up with in the van here. So let's take a look. All right, so just for reference, this is the passenger side, which I did pull off, although I highly would dissuade anybody from trying to pull this off in the Sienna. The behind this kick panel, all the HVAC system, plumbing, blower motor, ducting. So you're not going to gain much space at all over here if you take this side off. This side, however, this side came out amazing. So give you a little bit of reference here. On this side of my platform, more or less straight up. As you can see here, my bed platform, it goes from side to side all the way across the van. The kick panel more or less comes up vertically. And the only storage area you could gain would be, right up here due to the HVAC system taking up the spot. On this side, now instead of having a block right here, like on the other side, got all this space. And give you some reference here from the platform over, which again was completely consumed. I've got a solid 12 inches of space. I know the angle's not doing it, not justifying it here. So let's call it 13 inches, but an easy foot, vertical foot, all the way up to the window. And even, above the window, there's a little bit of space. So what does that mean in practical terms? So take a look at this. I'll hold this up with one hand. This is my Bluetti AC180, which is a pretty good size unit, and it fits completely inside this area. So I got an option to put a power station back here and still have room above it and still have all this room, beside it. And I kind of did a mock-up, and I actually had room for 2 power stations in this area. I don't think I'll do that, but just to kind of give you an idea, there's a lot of space to be gained here. All right, so I've got the Bluetti AC180 mocked up inside this storage, bonus storage. You can see here, it does not come out and encroach on the sleeping area. fits in there really comfortably, and actually has quite a bit of room over here as well. I did, there were some tabs right here, metal tabs. There were 3 or 4 of them, and then a bigger one right here. I did take the grinder and cut those out. You could also do that with the same Dremel with a abrasive cutoff wheel that I showed earlier with the plastic. But man, I'm pretty impressed. Should be easy to kind of mask this wiring, kind of protect it a little bit. But the options are pretty substantial at this point. I can go, just build something in this area right here, have a little shelf on top. I could, in theory, I suppose, do something that's the entire width of the wheel well here, and then go all the way to the ceiling if I wanted to. The only thing I would lose there would be access to the rear vent window, which I do use, but of course, you can lower the other windows to get ventilation in your van. I'm also thinking about other possibilities. One thing that I typically have a hard time finding is my camera gear, electronics, binoculars, that kind of thing. Things you do use a lot, but you don't really want them scattered about the van. And man, I can definitely see some storage opportunities right here for camera gear. Turns out I am able to find some secret storage here. So anyway, I hope you got something out of this video. Kind of unlock storage in your own van, or maybe give you some ideas about what you could do. Maybe even somebody has an idea for me out there, what I could do here, or what you've possibly done there in the past. So anyway, hope you liked the video, and I'll see you again in about a week, and maybe I'll make a little progress on this and we'll take it from there. So thanks again. Bye-bye.